Hello and welcome to this Chambers platform, and we will be talking today, continuing our discussion of histology of lymphoid organs. And we yesterday talked uh, in detail about some organs of the lymphatic system. Today we'll be taking the discussion more forwards to our structure of spleen, lymph nodes, and some little bit about their functions. And we will be finishing the topic today, mostly. So let us share the screen. So since yesterday we have seen this, so today I want to tell you something about what should I tell about? I want to tell you basically you have many lymphoid organs in your system, isn't it? You have nodules, isn't it? You have nodules. You have nodules. Why it's not writing? Okay, so nodules you have, isn't it? You have nodules. You have spleen. You have spleen. You have thymus, and you have lymph nodes, isn't it? Lymph nodes. Something should be there to differentiate them because all are functioning in this environment of lymphatic system. So how will differentiate them? First thing you should remember that I will tell you how to remember things. Okay, don't worry. So how to remember is how I remember also is uh, basically lymph node is kidney shaped, isn't it? If I talk about lymph node, it's a kidney shaped organ. Okay, and you know from your concepts of anatomy that whatever is coming towards this organ, that will be the afferent, that will be the afferent. So you can have multiple afferents for a lymph node. Remember, multiple afferents, things are coming here so that we can trap them, isn't it? They are collecting everything from the lymphatics. So once things are coming towards this lymph node, then they should come out also. Lymph has to come out, so there is only no, mostly you can see the efferent is one or like that. Okay, so you have multiple afferents, at least two, and you have, isn't it? And you have one efferent, and you have one efferent. Okay, so efferent is exiting your things. E for efferent, E for exit. This is how I remember. Okay, and if you see lymph node is having a structure outside, that is the capsule. Lymph node is having a structure outside, that is capsule. It is having capsule, so I will say capsule is positive. Capsule positive. Okay, did we saw yesterday that it had cortex, isn't it? Did we saw the cortex? Did we saw the medulla? Lymph node. Did we saw the cortex? Did we saw the medulla? Don't go here, this is thymus. Okay, so we saw yesterday the cortex and medulla, so we should write cortex positive, medulla positive. Done. Easy, easy to remember. Okay, so can you see uh, how many afferents are there? Afferents are present. First tell me, are afferents present? Yes sir, so we should write afferents positive for a lymph node. Afferents positive. Efferent, yes sir. What is the place the efferent leaves? What is the place where the efferents? Hilum. Hilum is the place where the efferents leave from the lymph nodes. Okay, does it have venules? Yes sir, it has venules. Those are known as HEV. HEV, what is HEV? HEV means high endothelial venules. So this lymph node is having high endothelial venules. Okay, but mostly you will be seeing it in the cortex. Okay, cortex, more deep cortex. Okay, what did you saw yesterday? You saw yesterday in a lymph node that you saw some reticular fibers, isn't it? You saw some lymphatic sinuses. Have I shown you the lymphatic sinuses? The sinuses is something, a place, an open place there. Okay, things are coming through narrow vasculatures and are putting there all the contents which they have brought into a open system, and here the things are in contact with other things, so it's an open system here, isn't it? A pool, like a pool. Do you know pool? If you have an afferent for a pool, You put a pipe, 2-3 pipes on a pool. Actually, you are making a sinusoid. You are making a sinusoid like a liver. I'll be teaching you the histology of liver. Okay. So there are some, no, you yesterday saw some subcapsular. I have taught you yesterday the subcapsular sinus, isn't it? On the lymph node. So subcapsular sinus is positive. Subcapsular sinus are present. And you saw some reticular meshwork also. So this is the feature by which you can tell that, sir, it is a lymph node. Which feature, sir? Presence of lymphatic sinuses. That is the subscapular trabecular meshwork, isn't it? Subscapular trabecular meshwork or medullary meshwork also. So you can have sinuses, subscapular sinus, trabecular, medullary, and some reticular meshwork. That is how you can differentiate. You can tell characteristically that it's a lymph node. Now, if I go to the those nodules, that is malt, colt, do they have a capsule? No, sir. This is how we can learn things. So nodule. So this was about lymph node. This was about lymph node. This was about lymph node. If I want to differentiate it from what, let us take a nodule. Lymphatic nodules. So what about lymphatic nodules? This is lymph node. Okay, lymph node. So lymph node and nodule. Nodules are nodule, no connected nodule, small. That's so small. So I will say connective tissue capsule. There is no capsule negative. Capsule negative. Sir, does it has a cortex? I never saw cortex yesterday, sir. There was no cortex. Cortex absent. Sir, was there medulla? No, sir. No medulla. There was no medulla yesterday. No medulla. Yesterday's topic you should listen. Yesterday's video. The video before this. Okay. So, sir, absent. Sir, does galt, malt have nodules? Please answer me. Does galt, malt have nodules? Yes, sir, they have nodules. So you should write lymph nodules are present. Lymph nodules are present. But this is not a characteristic feature because, sir, lymph nodes also have nodules, isn't it? Lymph nodes also have lymph nodules. Lymph nodes also have lymph nodules. This is a big lymph node, and this lymph node has also nodules. Where you can see, if you go to the superficial cortex, you'll be appreciating some lymph nodules. So that should not be a characteristic feature. I will tell in the last what is a characteristic feature of this lymphatic nodule. And first, comparatively, giving a comparison that how things are comparatively, we differentiate them on the basis of histology. Did you saw any afferent? No afferent, sir. Nodule does not have afferent. But yes, sir. But yes, sir. They have efferent. So remember, nodules don't have afferents. Nodules don't have afferents, but have efferent. What? Efferents means lymphatic vessels, isn't it? Out from that organ. Okay, exit. Things exit from this organ. So we will say afferents present, not afferents. Afferents absent. Efferents present. Okay, efferents present. Sir, do they have HEVs? Yes, and very beautifully made HEVs. Okay, if you go, you will tell me, sir, where can I look? I will tell you the example. If you look into your tonsils, in your pharynx, you will be nicely appreciating endothelial venules. No smaller form of veins is venule, isn't it? Like smaller form of arteries is arterioles. A baby of arteries, arterioles. Baby of vein is venules. In the same way, high endothelial venules are very nicely and beautifully, structured in this tonsils. Or if you go to your appendix, you will be appreciating very nicely this feature in the lymphatic nodules. Okay. So what, sir, how I can say? Can you tell me how I can say that this is a lymph nodule? How can I say, sir? Can you tell me the same thing like the lymph node? That you said in the lymph node there is presence of lymphatic sinuses, there is presence of medullary sinuses, there is presence of trabecular, there is presence of subscapular, not scapular, subcapsular, okay? And there is presence of reticular meshwork. So how can we say? So remember, they are diffuse in distribution. Okay, they are diffuse lymphatic tissue, first thing. And if you check their nodules, if you check the nodules, they will be, diffused. If you see a, for example, if you go for any mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, isn't it that you are first checking the mucosa? Okay, if you see any epithelial surface and there you see some nodules, those are the lymph nodules. If you see some nodules under that epithelial surface, we call that lymphatic nodules. Understood? So they are diffuse, you understand, na? They are not discrete, or they are not showing any pattern arrangement. Diffused, that is, we say in generality, not specifically showing something. Okay, but lymph nodes will be what they will be. Firstly they will be differentiated by afferents and efferents, isn't it? But you will directly see that there are some sinuses, there are some medullary subcapsular areas, so, and that reticular meshwork will be there. So that is how you can differentiate the things, isn't it? If I check, what is the next organ we had said yesterday? Spleen. If I take the spleen into account, spleen, sir, what is the function of spleen? Sir, we said at least two functions: blood filtration and blood filtration. We can write also the, it removes those old RBCs, those senescent. I can write senescent, senior people, isn't it? And white pulp I had, which was drawing what? It was mounting an immune response, and it was, it was actually responsible for immune response, adaptive immune response, isn't it? Okay. Sir, there is a question. Sir, does lymph node have connective tissue? Yes, sir. They have a connective tissue. That is the capsule. But lymph nodule were not having that capsule. Lymph node has capsule. Spleen also has capsule, but the spleen is made up of myofibroblasts. Spleen, the capsule of spleen is made up of, let me make myofibroblast. So myofibroblast is the capsule of spleen. Okay. Sir, can we appreciate cortex? No, sir. Spleen, no cortex, no medulla. No cortex, no medulla. Spleen. Spleen, no cortex, no medulla. Where is spleen? Right one or left one? Number one or number two? Which is spleen? Which is spleen? Both of them are spleen, okay? Both of them are spleen. One image is a little, the magnification is a little bit different, okay? Okay. So both are spleen. That should be the concept. So, so if you go into that, you can't appreciate any cortex, you can't appreciate any medulla. But yeah, you will have some lymph nodules. And what are the lymph nodules? What are the lymph nodules? Where are the lymph nodules only? Which part of the spleen are present the lymph nodules? White pulp or red pulp? White pulp or red pulp? Where are those small nodules present? Those mucosal, underlying mucosal epithelial white. Very nice answer. So can I say I will have here some nodules? The lymphatic nodules appreciable in white. Okay. Does it have any? Does spleen have any afferent? Does spleen have any afferent lymphatic vessels? Spleen. I'm talking about spleen, not lymph node. Please. I'm talking about spleen. Don't confuse yourself. Spleen does not have any afferent. Okay. No afferent lymphatic vessels. Blood vessels are adequate for it. Okay. So, sir, what about efferents then? Efferent, yes, definitely. But I won't say definitely. But if you go near the area of trabeculae, near the white pulp area, if you go near the white pulp area, you will be may see some efferent lymphatic vessels, but does not contain any high endothelial venules. Remember, it does not contain any high endothelial venules. Sir, what is the basic? How will I say that this is spleen? Directly go to see the white pulp. See the white pulp. Okay, and we will be also appreciating some central that central nodular artery, that central artery. Okay, there will be also presence of a central artery. I hope that is easy. So what about thymus? And then we will revise it. We will revise it. Okay, what about thymus, sir? What about thymus, sir? What does thymus do, sir? It produces T lymphocytes. It trains them. First answer, sir. Is there capsule? Yes, capsule present. Sir, is there medulla? Yes, we saw yesterday medulla and cortex. Let me show you. See, it's the yesterday's diagram. I haven't changed it. See, medulla is written, cortex is written. If you remember from the yesterday's topic, isn't it? So present, sir. Cortex present in thymus. Sir, medulla present in thymus. Sir, lymph nodules not present in thymus. Sir, afferent not present in thymus. Sir, efferent little bit. Okay, if you check the capsular part, there you may see some efferents. Okay, sir, can I say high end endothelial venules? No. Sir, how will I say this is thymus? Sir, lobules. Sir, how will I say it is thymus? You see directly, you can appreciate. Sir, it is thymus is lobules. Thymus is lobules. So lobules is lobules, thymus is thymus. Thymus is lobule, lobule is thymus. Thymus is lobule, lobule is thymus. Understood? So you can see some thymic lobules. No, some epithelio-reticular cells will be present. And yesterday I told you a thing about Hassal corpuscle. If I have a photograph, see, this is a thymus. Can you see these degenerating some epitheliocytes? This is Hassal corpuscle. Okay, I ask you one thing. Thymus, cortex dark or medulla dark? Thymus, cortex dark or medulla dark? Thymus, cortex dark or medulla dark? Let us check. Okay, yeah, something around us. Okay, medulla, 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 medulla. So all the game of colors and your perception, and you should not have any comorbidity like color blindness. Colorblind people can't practice as surgeon. No, I can't say they don't practice, but mostly it's a problem with if someone is having a choice in surgery, he can't do. There's a professional, restraint. You have to be restrained to some things because someone is red color blind, someone is green color blind, someone is blue color blind. So it's all about colors, okay? And histology is so tasty, and pathology too, because pathology is on the subject. Whatever disease you will study in life is basically starts from pathology, and then pathophysiology, and then symptoms are directly dependent on that. So it's all interrelated. So let us come back. We said, sir, if you want, sir, if you tell us a nutshell, in short, in conclusion, sir, what is the difference? Sir, I will say spleen, no cortex, no medulla. Lymph nodule, no cortex, no medulla. Lymph node, bigger, something like, very nice. So I remember like that. So cortex, yes. Medulla, yes. Present, present, present. Thymus, cortex present, medulla present. Easy. Thymus, lymph node, cortex present, medulla present. Spleen, no cortex, no medulla. Lymph nodule, no cortex, no medulla. Easy. Second thing, let us go to the afferents. Only out of those four which we discussed, we said spleen, thymus, lymph node. Only, remember like this, out of these four, this is how I remember, only lymph node will have lymph nodules. Sorry, lymph node will have afferents. Lymph node will have afferents. Rest others, no lymphatics. Afferent lymphatics. Sir, efferent lymphatic, in general, if you tell me, sir, broad way, yeah, present. In all of them, lymphatics, efferents present. E for everyone. E for everyone. E for everyone. This is how I remember. E for everyone. Efferents, everyone. Remember? Afferents, A means lymph node only has. Understood? Now, high endothelial venules. Spleen does not have. Uh, Let me make groups of present and absent. Okay. So spleen does not have. Thymus does not have. Easy. Now going between lymph nodes and lymph nodules. Both of them have. What? High endothelial venules. Now tell me, do you find that there is some, in the brain, if you can get that perception? I don't know. Can you get the perception, whatever I'm thinking? I think something like thymus and spleen are some organs, like they have that dominance, something big people. Thymus, spleen, some organ name are there. Lymph nodes, I say, yeah, they are in general everywhere. And I think like lymphatic nodules, malt. I That's how I remember. So high end, the people who are high, they don't have high endothelial venules. The people who are high, they don't have high endothelial venules. The people who are low, like lymph nodes, they have high endothelial venules. Can we understand now? Is it easy now? I have made it easy. Yeah. So, sir, how can I describe that? It is a spleen. Directly go to the white pulp. Check the central artery also. Second thing, sir, how to check thymus? Or thymus is in lobules. So there is lobules. There is Hasal corpuscle in the medulla. Hasal corpuscle, thymic lobules, thymus, white pulp, nodular artery, central artery, spleen, subcapsular sinus, trabecular sinus, medullary sinus, reticular meshwork, lymph node, nodule, diffused lymphatic tissue with, they have that random distribution that, no, there is no such type of a distribution of that, the nodules, the underlying epithelial surface. Is it okay? The question is, where can you see maximum number of T lymphocytes? Where can you see out of the all? I'm not saying they don't have. Thymus, very nice. Who is having the maximum amount of B lymphocytes? Bone marrow. Bone marrow is having the maximum amount of B for bone, B for bone marrow. But yeah, all the others, that is lymph nodes, spleen, they also have these. Okay, but in comparatively less percentage. Okay, thymus, but remember, thymus does not have B lymphocytes. Rest others, be bone marrow, they have also some little amount of T lymphocytes. So don't make it a strict thing. Spleen have some sort of, I think, equal amount of T lymphocytes and B, mostly dominated by B side. And if I talk about the lymph nodes have mostly the T lymphocytes if I compare it with B lymphocytes. And blood circulation, normally you see more number of T lymphocytes. And you know why. Okay, I have taught this in the WBC chapter. Okay, who is the primary lymphoid organ? Who is the primary lymphoid organ? Bone marrow, very nice answer. So what is bone marrow doing? How to make an antibody? How to make an antibody? What is the sequence for antibody? What is the family tree of antibody? First a B lymphocyte is there. What is the family tree? I'm talking about the family tree of humoral immunity, a small 3 or 4 generation. Okay, so B lymphocyte will make plasma cell. Plasma cell has a characteristic nucleus that is cartwheel shaped. Do you know cartwheel? That is plasma cell. So this plasma cell will produce what? Antibodies. And this antibodies give you which immunity? Cell mediated or humoral mediated? Mediated. Humoral. So you have a humoral immunity. You have a humoral immunity. So humoral immunity is by because of your bone marrow. You can say like that. So who gives you cell mediated immunity? CMI. Please remember. Who gives you cell mediated immunity? T lymphocytes. So cell-mediated immunity is given by your T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes, cell-mediated immunity. Can you tell me a disease yesterday from the thymus, absent thymus? Di-George syndrome, very nice. It's a 22q11 syndrome, isn't it? So you have deletion, okay? Deletion of this part. And you see the person becomes more having what? Protozoal infections, bacterial infections, isn't it? Okay, can you tell us something about secondary lymphoid organs? What are the secondary lymphoid organs? Very nice. Lymph nodes, spleen, malt. Now let me tell you, draw some structures for you individually by my hands. We have yesterday talked about the lymph node structure, but still I would like to describe some things. If I take a lymph node we said sir it is kidney shaped. Okay, let me make it like this. We usually make it for our convenience. We make it in a kidney shape like this. I am not making brain, please. This is not medulla pons. No. Okay. So I see things coming here. Okay. Outer convex, inner concave. Okay. I will tell you what you have to remember for your once you keep the structure learn in your brain, then you don't need to learn anything. You have to draw it at home. And can you see this is not actually it's not that they are attaching here. I want to make you realize this thing, that they are getting communicated. They are communicating to the inside. I will draw some of them. Okay, and we can see some zones. Okay, let me give a partition to them. uh, so this is what we are making from the outside. Is we are bringing some, what are these are lymphatics. These are afferent lymphatics, isn't it? Or you call them vasa lymphatica. Vasa lymphatica. So I should make the direction like this. Okay, so they are coming towards the lymph node. Okay, once we see them inside, we can see some, what are these called, by the way? If I draw some partition between them, let me make some partitions. Not, I can't draw lobules, but I want to show you this is like this interconnected. Now they're finally getting all purple. Everything is getting purple inside. Okay, let me make this purple also here, not like this. This is all purple. Okay, communicating with this purple, some sort. Okay, like this. So this is all purple. I don't want to start an art and craft class here because we have to learn. We have to make diagrams here, waste time in diagrams. So this is all purple getting communicating like this. Yeah. So what I have to show you is, where are those subcapsular sinus? So they are present in the cortical. So I will say sinuses are present here. Here are the sinuses. Cortical zone sinuses. Cortical or subcapsular sinuses. Okay, what is this, sir? What did you draw in between? I had to show some meshwork. So that meshwork can be shown by this. This is the trabecular meshwork. Trabecular meshwork. Okay, you can see a trabecular meshwork. So this is the trabecular meshwork. Trabecular meshwork. Okay, and you can see some sinuses coming here also in between that. Some sinuses. Okay, this is a rough diagram. I am giving you an idea. Okay, and should it have capillaries? Yes sir, it should have capillaries. What are the capillaries? It should have arteries and veins, also arterioles and venules. So we should make it like this. I should make it, let me make it like this. So this is my arterial system getting into one lobule. Let me make it like this. I am talking about this. Okay, so I have many arterial system and they are actually coming through this. Okay, and some venule system also I should draw. Okay, so this is just a depiction of what we should know. So this is artery and this is the vein. Okay, this is the vein. And here you see the capillaries. This is your capillary mesh. Okay. What you have to see is that this cortical sinus, if I magnify this cortical sinus, I will be appreciating lymphocytes and capsule. I will be appreciating lymphocyte plus capsule. Remember, so this cortical subcapsular cortical sinus is basically it contains lymphocytes and capsule. Okay, easy. And some macrophages also, I forgot. And some macrophages. This is what you have to remember. Okay. First important thing to remember. Let us put a lemon color. Where is the B cell zone? B cell zone will always be in the center. So B cell zone will always be in the center. Let me make one B cell zone. No, center of this cortex, B cell zone. And then around that, I will have a paracortical zone. Okay. I'll have a paracortical zone, that is a T zone. So T zone is paracortical. T zone is paracortical. T zone is paracortical. This is T zone. T zone is paracortical. B zone cortical. T zone paracortical. Okay. This T zone is paracortical. But remember, this is around this. So, okay. This is around this. Continuity. Okay. And you know the capsule is there. Okay. Capsule is continuous. That's not to be mentioned. And things are finally coming through this efferents out through the efferents. Yes, they should come out through the efferents after getting filtered and mounted by the antigen. Okay. Easy. Just this you have to remember. And about the physiology part, we have to study in the immunity. Okay. So here we are concerned about the histology part. So I have shown you yesterday that subcapsular below the capsule network, isn't it? I've shown you yesterday. So if we appreciate this slide, this is about the both are talking about the spleen at various magnifications. Let us erase this thing first. Things should be crystal clear in your brain. Okay, there should not be any difficulty understanding the concept. So first thing I will say is, if I talk about a spleen has trabeculae, spleen has nodules, isn't it? Spleen has nodules. And if I see, we saw right now that in the splenic nodule, we have germinal center. And so this, what is splenic nodule actually? What is splenic nodule? Splenic nodule is equal to germinal center plus marginal center, isn't it? Marginal area. Can I say this is splenic nodule? Yeah, that is what we are talking about. So germinal center plus marginal zone, that is what is called a splenic nodule. And this is making the white pulp. This is making the white pulp, isn't it? And it should have some cords in the red pulp, isn't it? That cords are known as cords of Billroth, isn't it? Splenic cords of Billroth. Sir, what are these cords of Billroth? They are very much important for your hemolysis. Okay. They are something like, trabecular meshwork. Like, let me make a hashtag, a multiple hashtag, something like this. Sieve sort of a thing. Sieve. They are mostly made like this, a drum shaped like this. Okay. Things to enter should enter from a broad area, and things to leave should leave from a smaller narrow orifice. So the person who is not able to leave bend itself, because RBC should be what? RBC should be, what should be RBCs? They should be, able to bend because of their structure, spectrins and all that. It should be able to be, flexibility should be there. So if they are not flexible, that means they are old, and old should be eaten. So in cords of Billroth, you have those macrophages which will eat them. That's why they are present in the red pulp. Okay. And you have some central retinal artery. If I show you, where I can show you. Okay, let us make it. It's not nice to make like this, but let me make a separate here. You know, there are central arteries coming, and that central artery is actually doing what? That is giving branches. That is giving branches. Okay, to these, even to the red pulp, and also to what they should give, isn't it? So each can I say each splenic nodule is supplied by a central artery. Each splenic nodule is supplied by central artery. And if you see around this artery, you can see a sheath. You can see a sheath. That sheath is called periarterial sheath. Periarterial sheath. A covering sort of a thing is there. That's not a pulse. What is pulse? This is called pulse. What is pulse? Periarterial sheath. Lymphatic sheath. So we have periarterial lymphatic sheath. Okay. And we can see some trabeculae also. If you have some trabeculae, some trabecules artery and vein will also be present. So you have to understand that central arteries, having this, we have marginal zone, we have germinal zone, isn't it? So this is the marginal zone, isn't it? This is the central germinal zone. Okay, and these are the red pulp, and this is. I hope you have understood the histology of spleen. So can we play a quiz on this? What is there will be a question in your exam. What is this lymph sheath having? Periarterial lymph sheath. It is here where you see T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes. I have inverted a T. Okay, so T lymphocytes are in this periarterial pulse. So pulse has T. Pulse has T. So let me ask you one thing. Where can you what can you see? Where can you see the arteriole? Where can you see the arteriole, the central arteriole? In the lymphoid follicle. In the lymphoid follicle, you can see the central arteriole. Is it in the center? No, sir, it is not in the center. It is eccentric. It is eccentric. That is not in the center, means away from the center. Sir, what does it contain? Who is surrounding the lymphoid follicle? The central arteriole. Sorry, who is around the central arteriole? Sir, T lymphocytes, isn't it? Who is around the central arteriole? T lymphocytes, isn't it? So in the center, what do you see in the germinal center? B, T, isn't it? B, T, B, T, B, T, isn't it? So periphery, T lymphocyte, center, B lymphocyte, center, B lymphocyte, periphery, T lymphocyte, center, B, periphery, T, center, B, periphery, T. Why, sir, center B? Because after B in the alphabets comes C. So that's why B. This is how we remember. Are we able to understand? Where are Hassal's corpuscles seen? Just dash one word answer. I want to dash one word answer. That's it. Where are Hassal's corpuscles seen? Hassal's corpus. No, they are seen in the thymus. They are seen in the thymus. Which part of the thymus? Now you have to say which part of the thymus? Hassal's corpuscles. Okay. So where are the cords of Billroth seen? Cords of Billroth. That's a beautiful answer, in the spleen. Okay. Okay, that's very nice. So what are the structures of lymph node? What structures can you know from the lymph node which we draw here? Abdrivet, isn't it? So what are the structures of a lymph node? We have what? Capsule. We have cortex. We have medulla. We have cortex. We have paracortex, isn't it? We have cleared it. So cortex contains what? Lymphocytes, isn't it? Cortex contains lymphocytes. In generality, we are saying, cortex contains. Then we ask that about in the spleen, where are they present? Okay. So that's what you have to remember. And one thing to end this discussion, I want to tell you one thing is, um, If you talk about this thymus, I will tell you something about the thymus. Let me go back to the thymus. In the thymus, you will be seeing, T lymphocytes mostly, isn't it? Those are called thymocytes, isn't it? Cells of the thymus, thymocytes. Okay. But I want to tell you one difference is that there is the capsule of this thymus is having some collagen, a loose collagen. Thymus has a loose collagenous capsule. So remember this. Loose collagenous capsule. Okay. And you saw the two sides, isn't it? You saw the cortex, you saw the medulla, and you saw that who is more dark, who is more eosinophilic, medulla or cortex? If he asks the question in the basis of very nice answer, that's medulla. Medulla is eosinophilic. Cortex is basophilic. Cortex outer side, inner medulla. Outer cortex basophilic, inner medulla eosinophilic. So you should remember outer. I hope the people who have read my basics of histology lectures, they must be understanding what do I mean by eosinophilic and basophilic. This should not be repeated right now. So outer is basophilic, inner eosinophilic. Inner is eosinophilic, outer is basophilic. Okay, are people to understand? Where is pulse present? Where is pulse present? Pulse, periarterial lymphatic sheath. Yeah, beautiful answer. So where? You can see it in the arterioles. Your all eccentric arterioles are surrounded by this in the spleen. Okay, there is one cell. There is one cell in spleen. That cell is stave cell. There's one cell in spleen that is called stave. Stave. It's not stare. Okay, stave. V. So what is stave cell? Also called as littoral cell. Littoral cell. Okay. Can see some flat cells. Some flat cells. Okay. If you see the sinuses which are present in the, in the spleen, you saw some sinuses, isn't it? In the spleen, there are some sinuses. So, because before you have to go to the sinusoids, you have to come to the cords of Billroth. You have to go to the cords of Billroth to reach the sinusoids. Okay. For reaching the bottleneck, this is the bottleneck, isn't it? Bottleneck. For reaching the bottleneck, you have to enter it. Okay. The person who is not able to come out through this bottleneck will get stuck, will get phagocytosed, and will actually finally result in an extravascular hemolysis, isn't it? It is an extravascular hemolysis, isn't it? Hemolysis happening in the spleen is an extravascular hemolysis, and it is only because of the structure of the shape of the RBC which is letting it to get hemolyzed. For example, in case of hereditary spherocytosis, where you see the hemolysis happening, isn't it? So before reaching that place, you have to go to the sinuses. So if you see the sinuses, the walls of the sinuses are covered by these stave cells. The walls of the sinuses are covered by stave cells. Walls of the sinuses are covered by stave cells. Understood? Why are they? What is the significance that they contain myofibrils? Stave cells contain myofibrils. So what do they do is, see, listen to me. If you want to open the channel, if you want to open the channel, you will contract it by myofibrils. Okay. For example, you want to throw this blood into your spleen. So how will you contract? You will contract the stave cell. Stave cell has myofibrils, which is lining the blood sinuses, isn't it? Walls of these sinuses. So you will press it and things will come out in the splenic matter, isn't it? Splenic matter. Understood? Okay. No, it's a network happening here. Let me draw it one for you. If I draw it a cord of Billroth here, here I have some micro. So I have to throw, things are coming inside, and if I want to throw what? This blood. I want to throw it in the spleen matter, isn't it? This is a spleen matter. So I will be contracting. I'll be contracting this stave cell because it has myofibrils, and we have read about the myofibrils in the physiology chapter. Okay, understood? Is there a problem? Let us talk about the last topic in this image. Yesterday we forgot to tell you, that is the tonsil. Where did I keep? I don't have an image here. Okay, I don't have an image, but yeah, tonsil has the same. If I talk about the tonsil, it contains what? That might, let me write something for you. If I talk about the tonsils, what tonsils you have? You have, for example, what tonsils you have? You have palatine tonsils, for example, or you have pharyngeal tonsils, you have adenoids, you have lingual tonsils. I take palatine tonsils, okay? And we have learned in the epithelial tissue that palatine tonsil contains what? It contains crypts, isn't it? It contains crypts. And these crypts are lined by what? Non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, and it contains lymphatic nodule. What does it contain? Lymphoid nodule. It contains a lymphoid nodule. Okay, under this covering you can see a lymphoid nodule. Okay, you will mostly be seeing some lymphocytes there. Okay, lymphoid nodule, round shaped. Okay, that will be having also the same mantle zone and same, yeah, germinal center. So these nodules will contain what? Macrophages. These nodules will contain what? Macrophages. What are these macrophages known as? What are the macrophages known as in the tonsillar nodules? Tingible macrophages. From pathology, I remember tingible, or they are also known as stainable macrophages. Tingible or stainable macrophages are seen in these nodules. Okay, you know, you know what is the characteristics of this tingible? I remember starry sky and Burkitt's lymphoma. Not to go there right now. I will say from the pathology there was a disease. No, Burkitt's lymphoma is a starry sky appearance is seen. Here I will say about these lymphocytes is, once you stain them, they produce a darkish type of a tinge. They produce darker, dark contrast will be seen on this, and that is called a starry night appearance. Have you seen a starry night appearance? Have you seen a starry night appearance? So starry night appearance is seen by these tingible macrophages. Okay. You know what is the function of these macrophages? Why are they kept there? During the making of B lymphocytes, some B lymphocytes may be producing that type. There is remodeling is happening. Okay. These B lymphocytes are being trained that you have to kill bacteria, not heart. They are being taught in the training center that you have to kill a bacteria. You have to see the specific antigen. Should have a specific CD marker. And if you see your own cell, don't kill that. That is the future we are training the B cell. But what happens is accidentally the B cell gets trained, or there is a mutation, a type of a coding is happening, that B cell says, okay, the B cell is made such that it will destroy something, or B cell is not able to function. So what body has a natural mechanism that the macrophages will destroy these type of cells, which are either harmful to your body self antigens, or if some B lymphocytes are undergoing degeneration. So remember, these macrophages will eat them. So isn't it a defense mechanism for me or not? Okay. So I hope you have understood the lecture of lymphoid system. This is all you had to read for from the first year point of view. I have tried to relate everything in the concepts. Please have a rapid revision. Search in the Google or some other browsing, net, surf the net and search some images so that you get a good hand of this concept. Okay, it is better if you see many histological images again and again so that you can recognize them on the exam. Okay, and on the exam day you can directly take it on your entrance exam, be it AIMS, USMLE or PLAB. So I hope you understood this lecture, and this is all for today. We'll be taking more histology lectures in the next class, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much and subscribe to this channel. Bye bye.